Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Code Man Movies. I have upgraded a little bit this week. I now have one of those fancy little phone holder doodads and a little light so you can see just how hideous and awful my face looks, especially today, because yesterday I was outside doing a workout outside for like 2 hours and my face got red. And then this morning I went golfing for about 4 hours and my face is even redder. And this is why we use sunscreen, kids. But, you know, Cody doesn't do sunscreen. So yeah, this should hopefully look a little bit better. I can get a little bit more on my face and crap the way we want to. And well, I don't know why you'd want to, but you know what I mean. And my phone's a little closer, so the microphone, you should be able to hear me a little bit better, at least until I can get a real microphone, which those do not cost, you know, a whole $30 like this fancy getup that I got yesterday at the clearance section at Walmart. So until I can find a cheap microphone, we're gonna go with this for now. This is looking pretty nice, and at least for Cody's standards. Guys, my channel, first of all, the Top Gun video from like 3 weeks ago is now at 20,000 views. I'm now at 34 subscribers, which is crazy. And I think my last video is at like 1.5 thousand. So that's pretty flippin' cool. Again, I really don't care that much about that, but it is cool that people are actually watching this for some reason. I don't understand you people, but hey, thanks for watching me go through therapy, essentially, because that's what this is. Let's get our beverages, guys. This week I don't know if you can actually see this. You should be able to see this because, again, this is my fancy. Oh, wait, is it going? I think it's going. It's going. Okay. Technology, guys. I love it, but I don't understand it. But anyways, guys, I'm drinking this week. This is a Sand Creek Hard Blackberry Lemonade. Sand Creek is a brewery in Black River Falls, Wisconsin. So, yeah. This is what I'm drinking this week. And I'm going to put it on my face periodically because my face is really hot and it's bad. I don't know if you can tell. No, you can probably tell how bad my face is. It's redder than a tomato. But yeah, let's start talking about movies and crap, guys. Let's do it. First off, this week I have Miss Marvel. Second episode was on Disney+. Not much for me to really say about this. It's an enjoyable second episode. This is an enjoyable series so far. I don't usually like talking about series until the very end. But yeah, so far this first and second episode have been very enjoyable. This second episode, I'm forgetting... I enjoyed the first episode more than the second episode. I'm honestly struggling to remember everything that happened in the second episode since it was a week ago now. I'm definitely watching that recap tomorrow morning. Let's put it that way. Enjoyable second episode, guys. I'm enjoying this show. It's Marvel. Yeah, you know, we'll see where the show goes, and I'll really talk about it towards the end as a whole because I like to talk about things from the start to the finish and as a whole. I don't necessarily like going beat by beat. But yeah, an enjoyable second episode of Miss Marvel for sure. Next up, guys, the second episode, or not second episode, for me, second real time watching Kenobi, but it's the fifth episode of Kenobi. This episode, okay, I have heard things about this show in which people are talking about how things don't line up with the original movies. This fifth episode made me start doing that myself, and I'm not even that big of a huge Star Wars fan. There's, first of all, the flashback sequence, which Disney has been known for de-aging, at least like in Marvel movies and even Star Wars movies. And it was weird they didn't really use it for Hayden Christensen, I can't say his name, in this flashback part, because Hayden Christensen looks the exact age that he actually is, and I think he's supposed to be like 18. I guess this takes place between the second movie or something like that. Second movie, I don't know. Again, I don't necessarily know this stuff, but very interesting that they didn't de-age him a bit more, because he looked old. So yeah, that was interesting. And then there's this whole side plot. I forget the character's name. Is it Reba, something? The one gal who is on Darth Vader's side, but then isn't actually on his side. And some things like that. This is turning into a show that you just turn off your brain and watch it. There's some enjoyable sequences in it. I like Darth Vader in this episode. We'll see what this last episode does tomorrow, I guess. As of now, this is fine. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. At the end of the day, it's fine. Is it enjoyable for me to watch? Yeah, absolutely. I love Ian McGregor. He is a great presence. You can tell he enjoys playing this character. That's really all I got for this. I mean, it's fine. We'll really talk about this next week when I have actually finished it. Tomorrow I'll finish it, and I might rewatch all 6 episodes in this upcoming week and maybe take some notes on it or something so I can talk more about what the show is and how I really enjoy it and such like that. Just want to make sure this is working. You can see my bald spot too. So you guys see this? It got a little sunburn too. I don't know if you guys know, we're going to go on a little side tangent here, but I got into a motorcycle accident and my helmet came off. I had a helmet on, thankfully. I had a helmet on, got into an accident, slid across the road, and you can kind of see where, oh, that's actually really getting bald up there. Damn, I'm going bald. Anyways, guys, but I've never looked at that. Wow. Anyways, guys, but my hair got all slattered and my head got bloom, and this is the worst spot of it. I really am going bald. I gotta start using more hair growing product, or I'm gonna be bald soon. Oh well. Anyways, guys, yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi, an enjoyable show enough. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, so I don't know nothing, but it's enjoyable from where I'm sitting, I guess. We'll talk more about this next week, though, when we finish the show. Next up, guys, it is Toy Story week. We had a new Lightyear movie come out this last weekend, and so I had to rewatch all the Toy Story movies, starting with 1995's Toy Story. I remember really enjoying this movie as a child, and I still really enjoy this movie as an adult. Woody is a character that I really relate to. He kind of wants to do things right. He wants things in order. Kind of plays by the rules, I guess you could say. He can be a little uptight, which I can be uptight as well. Yeah, and then Buzz comes along, and he's the exact opposite. It causes Woody to have jealousy, especially with Buzz being Andy's favorite toy. That's something I can definitely relate to. When you have a friend that you've been friends with forever that has a new friend that you're not the biggest fan of, but they just love spending time together, and just that part of you goes, I don't like you, and I don't like that you're hanging out with my best friend. I definitely have felt that in the past. I feel that when watching this movie, and that's why I love this movie so much. Just the characters are go through things that I've definitely gone through. Just all the characters in this movie are fantastic. You got Rex, Bo Peep there, and Ham, and Potato Head, and Slink. All just such great characters, guys. And we forget that, this movie was the first ever, 3D computer this is, the first ever kids animated movie to be made entirely in a computer. And it's just so crazy to see where things have gone in 27 years. And it is. You just watch it, and it's just so interesting. It's insane to see how the humans look crazy scary because they couldn't really figure out how to animate humans necessarily. But the toys all look really good for a 1999 film. This is just such a great story, such great writing. The animation looks amazing. Such great jokes that are kid appropriate, but are also adult. There's so many different jokes that I use from this movie, actually. Hey, look, I'm Picasso. Or, what are you looking at, you hockey puck? I say these things all the time. Immediately, I'm just like, what movie am I quoting? Most people have no clue what I'm quoting, but that's fine. I know what I'm quoting, and that's great. Randy Newman's music in this movie is absolutely fantastic. The voice acting, Tom Hanks as Woody is perfect. Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear is perfect. Just everything about this movie is such an enjoyable experience and such... I love Toy Story so much, and it's not because it necessarily came from my childhood, but it's definitely part of that. I absolutely love this movie. I have nothing bad to say about this movie. It is such an enjoyable movie. Toy Story is one of those rare movies that I'm going to give this movie a 10 out of 10. It is just so perfect in my eyes. I see nothing wrong with this movie. All the characters are so great. Everyone's kind of going through their own struggles, even down to like someone like Rex. Rex wants to be a scary dinosaur, and he's not scary, and he's got to come to terms with himself that he's a good dinosaur. There's nothing wrong with that. I just love this movie so much. Every time I watch it, I love it more and more. And just perfect movie. Really is. In my eyes, just such a perfect movie. So let's move on to the second one, shall we? Toy Story 2, guys. I believe this one came out in 97. And I think this is the Toy Story that I watched the most as a child. I remember my brothers and I got this movie from the library. And we renewed it a couple times because we just loved Toy Story 2 so much. Ride like the wind, Bullseye. Same thing as the first. Randy Newman, again, did music for this. Just the arc. Again, Woody's just a character that I really relate to. Woody's arc of doing something for himself once like he does what he wants in this movie, his arc of wanting to help others at the same time too. I just really relate to Woody. I think part of the reason I am who I am today is partially because of Woody. I remember watching these movies, and I remember just telling myself, I want to make sure that I'm always there for people. And that I do everything that I can to help people, even if it means that I'm not helping myself. And that's something that Woody does throughout these movies, but you see it here for sure. Being put into storage with the other Roundup gang because he's this valuable toy. And I love the other kind of side plot of the movie, of going to go save Woody after he's been kidnapped. I like the side adventure where Buzz is leading the way. You can see, you feel just how much Buddy appreciates what Woody did for him and everything that we saw in the first movie. And it makes that little side quest just so much more, you're so much more invested in it. And I love this movie just as much as the first one. It is such a great movie, guys. The writing, the acting, the way all these toys look, all the little yucks. I love the scene where they're crossing the road. And it's so simple. Toys crossing the road with the cones, and everything down to Mr. Potato Head getting his shoe stuck in gum and just about run over by what's that thing called? The cement culvert thing. Such a fantastic scene. I just absolutely love this movie, guys. Even the end with the outtakes. Goodbye. Please put all garbage in blah, 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 and correct blah, blah, blah. Bye-bye, goodbye. Is that it? Are they all gone? Oh, good. I gotta stop smiling like this. I need a little break. A little break? Okay. I remember my brothers and I just rewound the VHS, because, yeah, it was VHS at the time. We rewound the VHS so many different times on that, because we just love that. Goodbye. Okay, are they all gone? Oh, good, I gotta stop smiling like this. Oh, this is terrible. I need a little break. Oh, okay. We just love that. And again, it has great adult humor, great kids humor. The flippin' scene where we find out about Jessie and her owner, her kid, I guess you could say, is so heartbreaking and so beautiful. And as an adult, it's just a scene that you almost can't watch because you just know the feeling. Again, this movie just relates to me. At the end of the day, Toy Story movies are kind of about friendship, right? And these movies just hit me because of friendships. I've had a hard time keeping friends around for a long time. And part of it, I think, is just there's been moments in my life where I've been going through things. And there's also just the fact that I am like Woody, where I will go out of my way to do anything and everything for you. But then there gets to a point where you have to have boundaries. And I'm just still slowly getting to the point where I'm setting boundaries with people. And that's something I've had such an issue with in life. And just because I haven't had boundaries, people tend to take advantage of me eventually. At first, they just realize it's such a great, nice thing. I'm such this nice person. But then later on, they cross my boundaries that I never set with them. And they start taking advantage of me. And things like that just kind of happen in these movies. And Woody just, again, I just feel so much like Woody. And it just, these movies are just so perfect for who I am as a person and all that fun stuff. And that's why the second one is getting another 10 out of 10. I'm really ranting today, guys. I apologize. But, yeah, that's Toy Story 2. I absolutely love this movie just as much as the first. It is such a phenomenal movie, guys. I love Toy Story 1 and 2. Bring us to Toy Story 3, which that's a little blurry. I apologize, guys. Does it look super blurry? I don't even know if this camera's still on. This is going to be a longer episode today, guys, by the way. You can't really see the poster because my stupid head's in the way, but I don't like you seeing the big light on my TV. By the way, I also put some posters up so you have a little bit of background. I got my Logan and my Deadpool one up. Oh, now I broke it. Hold on. Stay with me. Stay with me. I don't know what I'm quoting. I'm not quoting anything, really. Okay. Now you're lopsided, though. That looks pretty good. That looks good. All right. I don't know. Looks pretty good. All right. Anyways, guys, Toy Story 3. It doesn't look too blurry. Anyways, Toy Story 3, guys. This movie came out in 2010, years after the first and second one. And this, in my opinion, is the best out of the bunch. I absolutely love Toy Story 3. It just really hits me hard. It just connects to me in a way that God, this movie's insane. I think also part of it, in this third one, Andy is going to college. In 2010, I would have been 2 years away from graduating high school. So these movies just came out at these times in my life that it's just insane. But yeah, this one, the toys aren't being played with anymore. They are sent to a daycare in which they're kind of abused by little brats, which this movie also makes me realize how much I don't want kids. But yeah, they're brought to this daycare, and they have to get out, and you find a way to get back to Andy, so they get put back in the attic for storage for his kids, which sounds terrible. Honestly, that sounds terrible too. Sitting in a cardboard, although they get the attic to themselves, they can do whatever the hell they want up there. Maybe that's kind of nice. Maybe it's retirement until they're unretired. Anyways, guys, though, I absolutely love this movie. The writing is so spectacular. Animation looks better than ever. The humor is so great in this movie. I love the bit with the porcupine and where Woody is at Bonnie's house and he's playing with the other toys and they're like, "Are you a professional? Wow, you're so good at this." The porcupine's all like, "I want to stay in character." I just love all those bits. This movie is just so beautiful, so fantastic. The freaking scene where they're in the incinerator together and about to die, and they accept their fate. Oh, I struggle to watch that scene. There's times when I watch this movie that I'll leave the room because I just cannot watch that scene. It is too hard to watch. Michael Keaton as Kent is fantastic in this movie. Everything with him and Barbie is really great. And then another scene that just freaking kills me at the end is when Andy's giving him away. Gotta take good care of them. This movie is also about letting go, which is another thing I've struggled with in my life. I struggle to let go of things. I hold on to things. I'm scared of getting hurt in life, and these movies just have taught me a lot, I guess you could say, and these movies make me want to do better. So this movie's just, again, all three of these movies are perfect in my eyes. It's a 10 out of 10. This is probably the greatest trilogy of all time, in my opinion. Like, just so beautifully done. Humor is great. Beautiful writing. The music is great in this movie. Again, Randy Newman, just awesome. All the characters are so great. Lotso as a villain, you can understand why he is the way he is. I could see myself, in a parallel universe, I could see myself becoming Lotso. Even though, again, I'm probably more of the Buzz in this situation, where I have to be there for Andy, no matter what. Even if it means that I'm sad and miserable and stuck just sitting on a shelf. That's me all the way. And I think that's why I just love these movies so much, because at the end of the day, our main character really is Woody, and we follow him through this journey, and we just see how much he cares about the people he cares about, and I just love seeing that. I really do. It makes me so happy watching these movies, and it just helps me with my life. It really does. I have to watch the movies every year to, I don't know, keep myself going, keep myself from going down the wrong path, keep myself being a Woody, because I love Woody and I want to keep being like him. So, yeah, Toy Story 3, guys. Another perfect movie, 10 out of 10 for me. I absolutely love Toy Story 3. Now we get to Toy Story 4. I remember in 2019 going, 2018 when they really, well, no, it would have been like, what, 2017? 2018. Anyways, guys, they announced this movie, and I was like, we don't need to see a Toy Story 4. There's no reason for it. That last one was just so perfect. It is a perfect trilogy. Why are you doing this? There's no reason to do it. But at the same time, I am also someone that firmly believes that there's nothing wrong with having a sequel. There's nothing wrong with having reboots, because everything just looks lopsided right now. It's not, though, really. I think it's just this. Oh, see, I'm going to break it again. I should just not touch things, guys. I'm just playing with my new toy. Essentially what I'm doing. So now that looks weird. Oh. Just have to play with my toy. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, it looks all right. Yeah, up a bit more. That's definitely not right. Hey guys, oh, you see my floor? Okay, yeah, I'm not editing this out. Definitely not. No, okay. Here we go. And we're back, guys. Sorry about that. I'm going to stop playing with things so that I don't mess up the video again. But anyways, guys, Toy Story 4. I was not excited for it. Didn't feel the need for it. I thought Toy Story 3 was just so perfect. I just didn't want to see another one. I really didn't. And after seeing the fourth one, I still didn't really need a fourth one. This movie is enjoyable, though. This movie is like 100% about Woody, which I just told you is like my favorite character ever. But at the same time, I like the camaraderie between the other characters. And, you know, Forky as a new character is fine. He's great. But I like the old gang. And and Keanu Reeves is stuntman guy. That's great too. Key and Peele is the new. They're all fine. But at the end of the day, it's just not exactly. I don't know. I struggle with this movie because it's almost just things I wanted and I didn't get. It's almost like that fan servicey, Star Warsy, Marvel crap that people go through. We get mad because we don't get things we wanted or we thought were going to happen. That's not necessarily what that is with this movie. It's just the new characters just aren't as interesting to me. Bonnie as a kid isn't as interesting to me as Andy was. I don't love the new characters quite as much in this movie. They're all fine. I didn't love it. And I get that this movie is more about Woody. And again, I'm kind of okay with that because I love Woody. And I love where his character, where his arc takes him in this movie, because at the end of the movie, he just realizes, you know what? I need to retire, essentially, is what it is. He realizes his time has come, that he just needs to do his thing. And I think maybe part of the reason why I don't love this one quite as much as the others is the fact that I haven't gotten that far in life yet. I'm at the Toy Story 3 stage. I am letting go, and I'm still trying to help people, though, at the same time. I think when this movie might hit me more, I'm going to, again, go on another little rant today. I have wanted to move somewhere warm for years now. It's 10 plus years at this point, and I just haven't done it yet. I think when I finally do it, because I know it's going to happen eventually, and I hope it's like this year, but I've been saying that for the last 10 years. I hope that I will feel the way Woody does in this, that it's time, and I got to do this for me. And that maybe is when I might like this movie more. I don't know for sure, but yeah, guys, this is still an enjoyable Toy Story movie. Everything about it is still good. The pacing in this one isn't quite as great for me, and I found this movie to be just slightly boring in spots. There's just all these little side quests in this movie, and it gets old for a while after me. It's still a really enjoyable movie. Like I said, it's basically just some pacing and just some points of the movie where I'm kind of bored with it, that I don't give it a perfect 10. I give this movie like an 8 out of 10. It's still very enjoyable. It's still a wonderful movie. There's some great humor. The new characters are enjoyable enough. They're not quite like as great as Jessie was in Toy Story 2, or even Lotso in Toy Story 3, or even Ken in Toy Story 3. This movie is just good. And, I mean, that's fine. But when you're watching, when you're putting it in the sense that this is the fourth movie in the Toy Story franchise, in a franchise that, in my opinion, was perfect up until here. I think 1, 2, and 3 are absolutely perfect movies. I gave them 10 out of 10s. And then this goes to an 8. It's just, it's hard not to use the word disappointing. This movie's disappointing, but it's not a bad movie. It's not like it's Jurassic Park 1, 2, 3. It's just fine, and it's good, and that's okay. That's 100% okay. And I've probably watched this movie now, I think this is my third time ever watching this movie, whereas the other ones I've watched hundreds of times. And yeah, this movie's only been out 3 years now. I think this movie came out in 2019. But yeah, I just don't find this one quite as rewatchable. I don't quite enjoy this one quite as much. Still a lot of great stuff here. This is a Toy Story movie that just does not get me quite as emotional at the end. I get the feels a little bit when with the whole Buzz and Woody separating. But it's just not quite there. And again, maybe it's just because I haven't gotten there in life yet. I think that might be part of it. But, yeah. it's an enjoyable movie, a great Toy Story movie still, just not perfect like I want it to be. It's not the 10 out of 10 I want it to be. It's an 8 out of 10, and there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, Toy Story 4, guys, still a great movie, just not quite as great as I wanted. Next up, guys, getting away from kids' movies here for a second, way away from kids' movies. Next movie I watched this week was Good Luck to You, Leo Grande. This movie was talked about at one of the film festivals. And I really didn't know nothing about it until I basically turned it on. What this movie's about is this woman in her 60s, played by Emma Thompson. She is a widow now. She's been a teacher all her life, and her marriage with her husband, as far as sexual, what do I want to say? Sexual. What am I trying to say? Her sexual endeavors in the bedroom. I don't know. Her sexual life with her husband wasn't quite what she wanted. It was more focused on what he wanted, and she just never got real enjoyment out of it. And so she hires a sex worker, an escort, however you want to call it, Mr. Leo Grande, to have sex with her. And more things go from there. We find out that Emma Thompson's character is kind of like a Woody in a sense, that she's very by the numbers, do this. So the entire experience is very uncomfortable for her. Leo Grande basically has to not talk her into it, but he has to calm her down. And with that, we learn some things about her. We also learn some things about him. And it's 3 separate times throughout the movie that she hires him. And each time we learn more about both of them. This is a very interesting movie. Again, because I just said she's a little bit like Woody in the sense she's very by the books, and she does everything she's supposed to. And she is just very uncomfortable with everything going on in these situations. And she learns to have fun throughout the movie. She learns to be happy with herself, to not be uncomfortable with herself. And I really enjoyed that. Even the character of Leo Grande, he has sex for a living. We learn about some of his clients and how he doesn't judge them, and how this is just his job. It's no big deal. And what I really love about this movie is it's a movie with zero judgment, really. Judgmental kind of things get brought up throughout the movie, but they're quickly talked down. This isn't bad. We both want to do this. This is not a big deal. So that is a very interesting thing. Another thing that's kind of brought up is the fact that she's 60. He's in his 20s or 30s. I forget how old he is in this movie. But there's a big age gap, and how it's not a big deal. She's paying him for a service. He's giving her that service. But it really is just a very interesting movie. Absolutely great performances in this movie. Emma Thompson, this might be one of her greatest performances ever. She just does such a great job of showing her uneasiness and her tragic past, honestly, which it just leads to her being so uncomfortable with things. And it's so interesting to watch, and so interesting where her character arc goes. And again, this is another movie that just made me think about myself and made me want to look at myself. And it's just such an interesting movie. Just how much I've thought about this movie after watching it is so very interesting to me. But it is such an enjoyable movie. Cinematography is great. Acting is great. The writing is pretty spot on with this one. The only thing I didn't love about this movie, there is a section towards the end that was a little too on the nose, a little ridiculous. It felt realistic up until this point in the movie. It's a scene that kind of takes place in a coffee shop, and it lost me a little bit there. Sorry, guys. It lost me a little bit towards the end there, but it's still just an enjoyable movie. It also just pretty much takes place in this one hotel room for the most part between these two characters, and I really did enjoy that. But still, a very enjoyable movie. Like I said, it has a couple scenes that I just didn't feel need to be in there. A character that's kind of just added towards the end there that just doesn't need to be in there, and it's just a little too convenient, and didn't love that aspect. But it is a really good, enjoyable movie. I could see myself actually watching this one again, just because it hit me personally. That's why we watch. That's why I partially watch movies. Is I want a movie to hit me. I want to feel what these characters feel, and I don't know. I just found this movie quite enjoyable. I'm gonna give this movie like an 8 out of 10. It is such a great movie. It's a movie I wish I'd seen on the big screen, honestly. It's on Hulu, and it is a movie I wish I saw on the big screen. So, good luck to you, Leo Grande. 8 out of 10. It is quite an enjoyable movie. It's a good character piece, and it deals with things that are a little uncomfortable. Age difference, sex workers, all that kind of stuff. And it is just an enjoyable watch and something to make you think, which I do enjoy. So, what does that sound? Do you guys hear that sound? I don't know, maybe it's me just playing with things. I don't know. Anyways, guys, good luck to you, Leo Grande, 8 out of 10. Next up, guys, I watched Jerry and Marge Go Large. This is a true story about a man who is this big math whiz, and my watch was doing something. Everything's still playing, right? God, look at how bald I'm going back here. Damn, I gotta get some, whatever that crap is. Anyways, guys, Jerry and Marge Go Large, true story about a man who was a mathematician. He discovered this little flaw in the lottery where if you bought more tickets, you could win more from them, essentially. And this couple basically won all this money and ended up helping out their little town. I forget where it was at. Was it Arkansas or something like that? I really don't remember. But anyways, they end up using this money and not buying a mansion, not buying a brand new truck, but instead investing it in the town and making their town a better place, a happier place for everyone. They share the love and really make a difference. What did I just do? Oh, God. I gotta stop touching things. I'm gonna set that there. There's this clicker, and I'm terrified of it. But yeah, guys, this couple just kind of helped out their town, and this is an enjoyable little classical comfort kind of movie. It's two nice people doing nice things because they found a flaw in the lottery system. And, this is nothing amazing. This is nothing spectacular. I believe this is the same director as Marley and Me. It's that Marley and Me kind of feel. It's just nice people going through life, and these nice people just happen to be winning the lottery and making all this money from the lottery and doing nice things with the money that they win from the lottery. And I just find that to be, it was just a nice little easy watch. Is it the most beautifully directed movie in the world? Is the cinematography anything amazing? Is the writing anything spectacular? Not necessarily. It's simple, and the movie itself is simple, and it's just enjoyable. As far as negatives go, I mean, it's It's just there. This is not a movie I need to see in theaters. If I saw this movie in theaters, I'd go, yeah, that's fine. No one needs to see it. Don't rush out to see it, but it's enjoyable. It's a movie to see with your grandparents. It's enjoyable enough. There's some of that kind of humor. It's just a nice little happy movie, and I enjoyed myself while watching this movie. Definitely towards the end, there's this side. There's also a group in this movie of college kids who are doing the same thing. They figure out the same flaw in the system, and they kind of get put into the plot of this movie, and it kind of gets convoluted. I wish they just kind of focused on the couple, played by Bryan Cranston, by the way, and Annette Bening, both great actors. I wish they just kind of focused on those two. Whenever they went back to the college kids, I got bored with the movie, which took up quite a bit of the movie. Rainn Wilson's also in this movie. He owns this he works at this gas station. I think he owns the gas station, actually. He owns this gas station that they're going to get lottery tickets from. He doesn't need to be in the movie. He's just over the top and ridiculous. So just little things like that kind of bugged me about this movie and made it boring at times. Boring and uninteresting at times. Other than that, though, this is an enjoyable movie. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. It's streaming on Paramount Plus. If you have Paramount Plus, check it out maybe. Like I said, it's just a nice, easy watch. It's like eating soup. It's nice and enjoyable. I don't know. Next up, guys, let's talk about Lightyear. Again, same thing as when I saw Toy Story 4. I went, why do we need this movie? We don't need to watch this. I don't need another Toy Story movie. Just stop. And then you come to find out that it's all about Buzz Lightyear, and what the trailers kind of showed us but didn't show us is the fact that like the opening of this movie literally is, in 1995, a boy named Andy got a Buzz Lightyear toy. And that toy was inspired from a movie, from Andy's favorite movie. This is that movie. So basically, this is a movie inside of a movie, because this is the movie that Andy watched when he was a kid that made him want to get a Buzz Lightyear. And that's interesting, I guess. So, and I went in just going, okay, that's interesting, I guess, but I still don't really need to see it. So I went in going, I hope this is good, but the first half hour of this movie is absolutely fantastic in my book. It felt very interstellar-y. There is a plot point with this movie dealing with time. And I found myself really enjoying that. This movie was actually fantastic in 3D. It really did feel like I was in space at points. Space movies are always just good to watch in 3D. And this movie was just a very enjoyable watch to watch in 3D. And then the movie, there's also, again, the Toy Story movies kind of are about friendship. There's a very beautiful friendship between Buzz and a friend of his. I forget the name of the character, but a friend of his. There's all this controversy that she is gay. We see our first lesbian, gay, however you want to say it. Our first same-sex kiss in a kid's animated movie. It's the fact that this is controversial is just ridiculous. It's 1 second of the movie. So who cares? She's a lesbian. I hate this. Why can't we just be people? Why can't we just get along? Why can't we just accept one another? It's just, get over it, people. So yeah, that's in the first 30 minutes of the movie. And then after those 30 minutes, it does something different. It changes course and kind of becomes a completely different movie. It kind of becomes more of a science fiction space adventure. We have to stop the bad guy, who is Zurg, which we kind of have seen in Toy Story 2. We know of Zurg. in this movie, it's just a big robot. We find out something else about the robot later in the movie, which is kind of the twist of the movie. There's a big twist towards the end of the movie that, when it happened, I went, eh. And then I went, okay, they'll give you a chance, like, do something with it. But the thing is, if you take the twist out of this movie, it doesn't change the movie. The characters don't change really because of this twist or anything like that. It's the same thing, and at the end of the day, this twist was a waste of time, and it was just there for shock value, and I didn't enjoy it. Zurg as a villain kind of sucked. Especially when you watch, like, the animated series and that animated Buzz Lightyear straight to VHS movie. I really enjoy that Zurg, and this Zurg is just nothing. It's just very and I left the theater wanting more from this movie, and there's just nothing with that villain. Voice actors were all great for this movie. The movie looks beautiful. It really does. Like I said, it looks fantastic in 3D. There's a character introduced called Socks. He's a robotic cat. He's absolutely wonderful. I would have thought that character would have been annoying and obnoxious and not needed in the movie. He's absolutely fantastic, and I love the character of Socks. Other than that, though, this is just kind of your typical kind of science fiction film with Buzz Lightyear in it, and if this is Andy's favorite movie, I guess kids would like this movie. It's enjoyable enough, but personally, I found it just to be kind of there. I don't think I want to see this one again in theaters. Maybe in 3D again, actually. I might want to see this movie again in 3D, just because it had such great 3D. But other than that, guys, this movie wasn't that great. Taika Waititi, who I usually love, his character is kind of just annoying. And, there's other characters that are there, and they're good, but at the end of the day, this just wasn't... This just wasn't quite as memorable as the other Toy Story movies. It's not the worst Pixar movie I've ever seen, but it's not quite amazing like you want a Disney Pixar movie to be. Not even the worst, and I would also say it's the worst the Toy Story movie. Not by much. I'd give this movie like a 7 out of 10. It's not bad. It's just not particularly... It's not perfect like the other Toy Stories. It's not even really good like Toy Story 4. Sorry, guys. It's just kind of a there movie. And, again, it's a Toy Story movie. We want more from it. And I don't think it's necessarily what I wanted. I don't think it's me thinking that it should be this that made it disappointing for me. It was more of just... The biggest problem I have with this movie is just Zurg as a villain. It just kind of disappointing. And just, I didn't love the characters that much. I found Buzz to just kind of be... I found him to be there. And there just wasn't much else to it. So, at the end of the day, guys, it's a good movie. Just not my favorite. It's very forgettable. Honestly, at the end of the day, this is kind of a forgettable movie with a very forgettable villain who... Sleep, kids, it's good for you. Who, at the end of the day, Zurg... Even though he's had, like, 0 screen time presence, I love the character of Zurg. He looks awesome. He seems so interesting and cool. I want to know what's up with that guy. And he's just nothing in this movie. Just nothing. And I wish it had been more. So, villain's honestly the biggest problem with this movie. But, yeah, guys, an enjoyable enough a movie. You're not going to hate yourself if you go see it in theaters. See it in 3D. That you'll enjoy. But I just didn't love this movie quite as much as I wanted to. Next up, guys, I recently went shopping. I used to go shopping every week for physical media because I love physical media. And I stopped doing that every week because it was just getting very expensive, as you could probably guess it would get. And so I kind of just get deals when there's some really good deals, when it's like $10 4K, then I'll go and buy some movies. And I bought Jungle Cruise. It was at Target. There's this cool little special edition box set thing. It comes with these posters, these things, you know. I mean, you know, it just looked cool. So I had to get it. I like physical media, and I wanted to get the 4K for this movie, so I did, and I did get the 4K. I looked at all the special features and all that kind of stuff. Some very interesting special features in there. No commentary, which is really sad. Why no commentary anymore? Why? Anyways, guys, I saw this movie in theaters. When I saw it, I went, that was enjoyable enough. It's kind of like National Treasure, but on the Amazon. And I enjoyed it for what it was. I then went and saw the movie a second time with my 9-year-old cousin. His parents aren't really big into movies. That probably was like his third or fourth time ever going to a movie. So I'm going to like this movie more than most because I have that memory of taking my cousin to the theater and knowing that he doesn't go to the theater much, and that's something he's going to remember. And I know it's something he's going to remember because I went and saw this cousin last week, and he wanted to go to the movies. We went for his sister's graduation. She graduated high school, and he wanted to go to the movies. He has a memory of going to Jungle Cruise and going to the movies with me, that he wants to go to the movies. And every time he sees me now, I just have this feeling he's going to want to go to the movies. And I love that. I love that, you know, my cousin might end up liking movies more because I brought him to the movies this first time, and he had such an enjoyable experience. And I love that. Because I love movies so much, I'm glad that my love of movies gets spread. You don't have to love movies, that's fine. But, you know, if I can help you see I've had quite a few different friends and such that didn't love movies before me. And then they just saw how I saw movies, and they started loving movies. And I just love that. I love that I don't have to convert anyone necessarily, but I love that when people can see why movies make me so happy. And that's part of the reason why I do this channel, and why I hope anyone that is watching this video enjoys movies too, and is at least understanding why I enjoy movies. But anyways, guys, going back to Jungle Cruise, this is a fine movie. This is nothing spectacular. This is a fun movie. Watching the bonus feed, this is a $200 million movie. It doesn't look like a $200 million movie at times. There's some really bad green screen. There's some really bad CGI characters. There's some really bad CGI animals in this movie. I was looking at behind the scenes of the making of this movie. They actually created like this town where you're at the beginning of the movie and the end of this movie. They made it. A whole town. Inside, interiors, outside, and exteriors. They made this entire thing, which probably brought the budget up for the movie quite a bit. And then they put the boat in some actual water with green screen, which that is a good idea. But again, that probably wasn't cheap to do. Then you got all these big actors like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Emily Blunt, Paul Giamatti, and Jesse Plemons. Bigger actors. Budget of this movie probably went to all those things. And what happens then is you get CGI Jaguars that look CGI, and it just doesn't quite look right. And that's my biggest problem with this movie, is just the CG. You can see so much CG in this movie. And I wish that they had... And it's distracting also in a sense, because, like, Paul Giamatti in this movie has a bird. And it's a real bird. Like, that was Paul Giamatti's idea, is what I learned from behind the scenes bonus features. And it was a real bird, and you can tell it's a real bird. And in the next scene, you see a CGI bird that looks like CGI, especially when you're comparing it to the real bird. I wish they had gotten real animals for this movie. And if, you know, obviously it's going to be kind of hard to get a CGI Jaguar. So maybe take out the Jaguar, or I don't know, spend a little bit more money on the Jaguar specifically, and don't worry about making CGI snakes and CGI bees. And there's so many shots of snakes in this movie. Just a shot of a snake. Like, they're standing on the side of the Amazon, or whatever. I think it's the Amazon. I forget where they're at. In the jungle. Wherever they're at in the jungle. And this snake is crawling by them. It's just a shot of a snake crawling by them. Why does that need to be in there? Just take it out. Don't spend that money on a CGI snake. Spend it to make your Jaguar look a little better. I just wish they had used their budget a little more wisely in this movie. And like I just said, you can cut out something. There's also, like, dolphins in this movie that look really CGI. Take out the dolphins. We don't need to see the dolphins. I understand you're trying to make everything look magical and mystical. It can still look magical and mystical without dolphins. So that kind of bugged me about this movie. The story itself, though, is interesting enough. It's just a little treasure hunt, and it was quite enjoyable. There's some backstory with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's character, the skipper, and I didn't need it. It could have been taken out. That's another big problem with this movie. It's way too long. It's overstuffed, over bloated. It just does not need to be as long as it is. And there's too much stuff going on in this movie. There's not need to be so much stuff in this movie. It's just too much for its own good. Other than that, though, the characters are enjoyable enough. Disney is not the best at having gay characters. There's a gay character in this movie, and he's just kind of like, my interests are different. People don't like me because of who I love. And just say you're a man that's attracted to men. Why is it a big deal? Again, there's all this controversy crap. I don't want to get into politics on this, but it just, another scene that just, I don't know. I didn't love that particular scene and how they handled that situation. Other ways you can, it doesn't need to be said like that. Just be the character. I don't know. We're not going to get into talk. I don't need to discuss all this because this is the politics part, and I don't like politics. The movie itself, though, is enjoyable. All the characters are fairly great. Jesse Plemons kind of plays a cartoony little German guy. He's a fun little villain. There's this side part where they go and meet these natives, and that's really enjoyable. The weird little pirate guys are enjoyable. Again, the CGI just doesn't necessarily look great. That I wish wasn't quite there. There's some fun stuff in this movie, guys. It's not perfect, though, but I think it's just a fun, little, enjoyable, throw popcorn in your face kind of movie, which is what I did the other night when I watched this movie on 4K after watching bonus features. I enjoyed it. I had a good time, once again, watching this movie for, I think this is the third time I've seen it now. I want to say third time. It's an enjoyable movie. It's fun. Not one I'm going to watch 100 bajillion times, but whenever I watch it, I'm always going to think of my cousin, and that right there is just something that's going to make this movie even more enjoyable for me. At the end of the day, guys, I'll give this movie like a 7 out of 10. There's fluff that needs to be taken out of this movie. The runtime is just way too long, and there's some really questionable choices with special effects, some CGI that just didn't need to be there, especially when there's so many different scenes. When it's the animals are the worst part, because there's scenes of actual monkeys, actual birds, and then they'll cut to these CGI frogs that don't look, it looks like a video game. It looks like they ran out of money towards the end, or this movie came out during COVID. The movie cost $200 million. I don't even think it maybe made $200 million domestic or worldwide. Maybe it was just, we're not going to make any money back. Let's just throw it out in theaters the way it is and call it good. That could have been it too. I'm not sure. At the end of the day, guys, this is an enjoyable movie. I enjoyed myself. 7 out of 10. A couple more movies, guys. This is going to be over an hour-long episode. Probably my longest episode yet. So, yeah, it is what it is. Next up, guys, I watched the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. I love SpongeBob. I've watched a lot of earlier episodes. I haven't watched everything SpongeBob episodes wise, but I loved the SpongeBob SquarePants movie in like what 2002, 2003. I love that movie. Sponge Out of Water that came out in 2015, I think. I really enjoy that movie. It is such a fun movie. It's stupid and dumb. The humor is ridiculous, but I enjoy that movie too. And then I heard about this movie that came out in like 2020. It was supposed to come out sooner, but pandemic happened. And I just never got around to watching it. I have Paramount Plus now, and so I finally watched this movie. And this movie kind of sucks. The plot of this movie is that there is this King Poseidon. What is it? God? I don't know. Poseidon. He has a wrinkle. And the way he gets rid of wrinkles is by using snail slime. But he's ran out of snails. So he goes and kidnaps Gary the snail. SpongeBob is snail. And SpongeBob has to go save him. And then there's also flashbacks to when SpongeBob was a child and how they all met. And it's kind of just setting up this TV show that's on Paramount Plus that I had never even heard of until like today. And I went, it feels like they're milking this. Why are we talking so much about this camp? And I went, oh, there's a TV series. That makes sense. This is just one big commercial for a TV series. Not my favorite SpongeBob movie. The humor is not quite there. This movie just feels like a bunch of SNL skits kind of thrown together. You know how when you watch SNL nowadays, you're like, huh, that one made me laugh out of the 12 sketches on SNL? That's this movie. For like every 12 laughs, there's only one that actually makes you laugh. And I wanted this movie to be more. I didn't love the CGI. I mean, it's beautifully done. It looks great, but for SpongeBob, it looks weird. And I didn't love it. I couldn't get over it. Yeah, this story is just kind of nothing. Gary gets kidnapped because wrinkles. It's just stupid. Again, but it's a kid's movie, so, you know, kids probably will enjoy it. There's some good messages in there, but at the end of the day, this movie was just kind of bland and boring, and I didn't love it. Not the worst movie I've seen in the world, though. It's fine. I'll give this movie a 5 out of 10. It's just fine. There's enough there that it's enjoyable. Don't need these flashbacks. I wish the plot was a little bit better. I don't know. Why couldn't we have made Gary like a rare snail or something? I don't know. I'm not a writer necessarily, but I just wish the movie had been a little bit better and had been a little more thought out. There is a great bit with Keanu Reeves. He plays Sage, literally Sage, a tumbleweed of sage in this movie. That's great. That was my favorite part. And other than that, this movie's just what I just did. It's a little bit of a yawn fest. But again, it's on Paramount Plus. If your kids like SpongeBob, your kids will probably enjoy it. Last movie, I literally just got done watching this movie. I went golfing, came back home, needed to eat something, needed to watch something while I was eating. Again, I'm on a Paramount Plus binge, I guess, because I watched Clifford the Big Red Dog. It was on Paramount Plus. I remember this movie coming out last year, and I could have went and saw it in theaters, and I just decided not to. I just did not feel the need to go see this movie in theaters. I'd seen the trailers and just went, nope, this movie's gonna suck. And, you know, this movie kind of sucks. The girl that plays Mary Elizabeth is not that great. The writing in this movie is absolutely terrible. It's so cheesy and over the top and ridiculous. I remember reading these books as a kid. So, I mean, it should have brought back some childhood nostalgia, I guess. And it just didn't. I didn't care. Yeah, this movie, I already forgot it. It sucks. It's not the worst movie ever, though. Clifford looks fairly good as a big CGI dog. there's the uncle's an interesting character, played by a character by the actor actually who's in Jungle Cruise, Jack Whitehall, I believe his name is. So yeah, there's some interesting characters in there. There's some interesting little bits. I chuckled a couple times. It's not a terrible movie, but it's just... This movie's made for kids. And that's fine. It's totally fine that this movie's made for kids. There can be movies just for kids, and kids will enjoy it, and that's fine. For me as an adult, though, this movie's like a 4 out of 10. Like I said, it's not the worst. It's not great. It's not amazing. In my eyes, it sucks. But for a kids' movie, there is a lot of great life lessons, and kids will enjoy this movie, I think. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. So I can't say this movie's completely dog crap. It's an enjoyable movie that adult could watch, but doesn't necessarily want to watch. How about that? It's a 4 out of 10. Next, guys, let's talk about movies that are coming up this week, guys. We have the new Elvis movie. It is a Baz Luhrmann film. I don't love Baz Luhrmann as director. I think he did that Romeo and Juliet with Leo and whatever her name is. Claire Danes, is that it? I can't remember. That movie is eh. He did that Great Gatsby remake. That movie is very eh. So sorry, guys. Yeah, I like Elvis. I like some of his songs. He is a very interesting figure in our pop culture. I don't know how much I care about this movie, though. It looks interesting enough, but I just have a feeling this movie is also like 2 hours and 40 minutes. I have a feeling I'm going to be talking about this movie next week or whenever I see it and saying it's way too long. It looks pretty, but it's fine. We'll see. We'll see if that changes. My excitement level for this movie is not very high. It's like a 7 out of 10, maybe. It's got Tom Hanks. That's like the biggest thing about it. And it is going to be interesting to learn a little more about Elvis's life. I know a little bit about Elvis. I don't know a whole heck of a lot. But Uncle Jesse from Full House would be very excited to see this movie. I can tell you that. Next up, guys, this is a movie I'm really excited for. The Black Phone, from the director of Sinister, which movie I do not love, but also the director of Doctor Strange. This looks like a fantastic little horror movie. Ethan Hawke stars in this movie, and it just looks so interesting. The trailers have given away really not much, at least from the ones I've seen, and it looks like, I don't necessarily know what's going to happen in this movie. I think someone's kidnapped and something with a black phone. I don't know. This movie looks insanely awesome, insanely creepy, and I'm very excited for it. Excitement level for this one's like a freaking 9 out of 10. Only thing gives me hesitation is I didn't love Sinister, and I didn't like Doctor Strange all that much. Both of them are fine, but nothing spectacular. I just have a feeling with this one, though. This one's going to be awesome. I can feel it. So 9 out of 10 excitement level for this one. I'm very excited for this one. Yeah, guys, we are like over an hour on this one, so I'm going to try editing these two parts together and put them up for you guys. Yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who is liking my videos, watching my videos, subscribing to my videos. That is totally awesome. So happy that hopefully you're getting some enjoyment out of it. I'm going to continue trying to do some things to make these videos a little bit better. Looking to invest in a microphone, hopefully soon. Microphones aren't cheap. But yeah, hopefully this little upgrade has helped today with the lighting, holding my phone if I can just make it stay. And, I have some posters in the background now. But yeah, hopefully it sounds a little better and this goes over a little better. We'll see, though, in the future. Once again, guys, have yourself a great week. Keep being you. Keep doing what you do. And, just be as happy as you can. Have a drink every once in a while. Enjoy the sunshine. Don't wear sunscreen. Don't do what I did. That's stupid. I should have been smarter because I'm not smart. Anyways, guys, have a great one, and we will see you next week. Bye, guys. When to stop? It didn't stop. It didn't stop. It didn't stop. Okay, now bye, guys.